Two things. One second before you start, Adi. Shir is Schus Refuah Shlema for Avram Yaakov Ben Perel, Leslie Gabor, who needs a Refuah Shlema. It's a Shem. So words of the Torah should be a Schus Refuah Shlema for him. Okay. So we're holding in the Gemara, in the middle of the last sugya we discussed. The last sugya we discussed was the chiyuv of being made b'makom kavod abrius, when you could be misalim, when you can not be made, not sheval taisa kum ve'esei. Fascinating sugya nageya to telling a mother-in-law telling a father-in-law if his mother-in-law cheated on him, if he's mechuyev to tell him. So ayin sham in the shir about how it connected back to the Rishonim over here. Fine. So the Gemara said that when is a Kohen Gadol made? When does a Kohen Gadol testify? So the Gemara says that the Kohen Gadol testifies if the Melech is there. If the Melech is there. Meid lemelech. The first line of the line is Rav Yosef. Amar Rav Yosef, Meid lemelech. He's made for a Melech. So the Gemara says that's very problematic. That can't be. V'atnan loidan v'loidan anaisai. Can't be, because we said in the Mishnah that you don't judge a Melech. So how could you be Meid lemelech? So the Gemara says, Le'meid le'meidin. So the Gemara says, El Amar Abzer Meid leben Melech. No, we're not talking about where you're judging the Melech. You're judging the Ben Melech. So the Gemara says, I know this kid thinks he's a hotshot. He thinks he's yarshening his father's business. He thinks he's big stuff. But Zok the Gemara says to this kid, if you don't earn it on your own, don't forget this Gemara. This is the Musa Shmuz that every father wants to know. Ben Melech Hedyotu, says the Gemara. You're a Hedyot. At the end of the day, you might be Ben Melech, you might have Yichus, but that's not going to get you very far. Once I'm gone, you're going to have to earn it on your own. Ben Melech Hedyotu. So why is the Kohen Gadol coming to be made for him? Says the Gemara, Elameid Bifnei Melech. You're right. So the Gemara says he's made Bifnei Melech. So the Gemara sounds like it understands made Bifnei Melech v'ha'ein moishivin Melech b'Sanhedrin. But it can't be, because a Melech can't be one of the members of Sanhedrin. Right? So the Gemara says, Mishum Yakra de Kohen Gadol Asa v'Yosef Mikable Nile l'Sudusayu Kayhu v'Azul Ma'ayna Le Anan Bedina. You're right. He came to show respect. My buddy, the Kohen Gadol, is coming to give Eidos to help out my son. I just came for the first part. I'm not one of the members of the Sanhedrin. I'm not sitting in the court case. And then he's going to leave, and we're going to judge on our own. So the Gemara now picks up with that line. Gufa ein moishivin melech b'Sanhedrin. That which we stated earlier, that you can't make a melech as a part of the Sanhedrin. V'lei melech l'kohen gadol be'ibur hashana. How do you know that? Says the Gemara, melech b'Sanhedrin. The reason why you can't do that in a Sanhedrin, d'chsiv loisana al riv, loisana al rav. The Gemara has a drasha in the pasuk loisana al riv. You're not allowed to be sana. You're not allowed to answer after the Rav, the great person, already gave his opinion. So how is it ever going to work to have other opinions in a Sanhedrin if the Melech is one of those members? How do you know that you can't have a Melech and a Kohen Gadol in Ibrashen? So Gemara says, Melech mishum afsanya. What does that mean, Melech mishum afsanya? Says the Gemara, Melech mishum afsanya. Mechalik mamon l'chayalosov, kach v'kach l'shana, v'noyach loy sheyu kol hashanim mu'baros. Says the Gemara, the Melech collects a monthly tax. And if he collects a monthly tax, he would like the year to have more months so he could have more cash to support his army. So basically the Gemara is saying, we don't think he's going to be ma'aber this appropriately. It's really going to be to his own advantage. So therefore the Gemara says that he can't be involved in the Ibra Shana process. Kohen Gadol, says the Gemara, mipnei atzina. What does that mean? Kohen Gadol mipnei atzina. Zokt Rashi, Kohen Gadol eino rotze shetis aber shana mipnei atzina shetzarech litvol ulevakish b'yom HaKippurim chamesh tfilas v'asara kiddushin. So if you think about it, right, we don't even ever think about it. We just take it for granted. But you have to think about the Kohen Gadol, who's not necessarily a young guy, and he's going in 5 times into the mikvah, and that's just 5 times in the mikvah, and he's going to do 10 times Kiddush Yadayim V'Raglayim. Let's remember how he's doing Kiddush Yadayim V'Raglayim. They're splashing water when he's holding his feet. It's not so simple, right? And he's getting this cold water, so therefore what? He's going to want it to be on a hot day where it's actually a little bit enjoyable. Now, my other friends can't take showers, but at least I could take a shower while we're schwitzing on this Yom Kippur day. That's really hot and there's no air conditioning. So if it's going to be in the season of Cheshvan, it's going to be 1 month later, so it's going to be very difficult for him to handle that all those tefillos and the Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim. So therefore, Tzinas Mar Cheshvan Tia B'Tishrei, he's not going to want that to be, and he's going to want to be Ma'aber Es Hashana. Excellent. So for Adi, Taisis Kasha. Mishum Tzina, second to last Taisis. Excellent, Adi. Mishum Tzina, Perish HaKunshis, Mishum Shekoyin Gadol Toyin Tvila. V'loi Nehira, Demashma B'yuma Shayu Mechamim Loi Kumkum Shal Chamin B'yoyim HaKippurim. What Adi is quoting is a Gemara in Yuma. The Gemara in Yuma says that they actually did something that is usher to do. You're not allowed to heat up water. The Gemara says that if they would put the hot iron inside the water, they would be in violation of mitzarif. They're now causing the metal to solidify or whatever they were putting in. The Gemara says that was usher, but since the Gemara assumes that was only an isser derabanan, so the Gemara applies the principle at the end of Erevin of ein shvus b'mikdash, that there were certain gzeres derabanan that were suspended and that were removed when it comes to the dinim and the halachas of the Beis HaMikdash. What's interesting is that there's a debate amongst the poskim, was that specifically things pertaining to the avoda, or was it that all gzeres derabanan were repealed in the Beis HaMikdash? Did it have to do with that Chazal weren't concerned when it came to the Beis HaMikdash? Kohanim zrizim hein, they know they're not going to slip up. We can relax some of the gzeros, or no, it was specifically a facilitator to the avodah of the mikdash. That is a machlokes rishonim, how to understand the din of ein shvus b'mikdash. So Tosfos says Rashi's wrong, like Adi asks, because he's not going to have to worry about the tefillas. So Tosfos says, so you know what the answer is? The answer is bizman hazeh. You know what do they have now? Insulated floors. They have the heat through the floor. So the Beis HaMikdash was not built with the heat through the floor. So Tosfos says he was walking around barefoot. That was the Kohen Gadol was walking around the Avodah barefoot. So Tosfos says l'chachner lefarish mishum krius haritzpa shekol hayom amid yachiv. You'll ask me, every Kohen was amid yachiv. It's halacha in the Beis HaMikdash that it's a chatzitza. You can't have a chatzitza between his feet and the floor. The answer is yeah, but here he's doing such a long avoda nonstop all day. That's going to really cause him to be sick if it's so cold. The Gemara in Yuma tells us that there was one tvila that was outside the Beis HaMikdash. Arba tfilos were part of the Seder Hayom. The original tefillah was not in the classic avodah, in the classic mikvah in the Beis HaMikdash, just as the first rechitza was not the kior for Yom Kippur, but it was a different kior. So the first kior, the first rechitza was not. So once the Rabbi Kiva Eger points out, he has a kasha. So why can't that be the yishuv for Rashi? Maybe that is the yishuv for Rashi. Rashi knew that they were machamim Es Habarzel. But Rashi said, but there's also another Tvila. Right, so that's what I'm saying. Rashi's including, right, Rashi knows about the other four. And Rashi's, yeah, I'm saying, right, exactly. Yeah, one of the tefillos is a five. Yeah, you're right. Why would Rashi have to say? Right, Rashi sussum. Rashi doesn't explain so much. I'm saying a possible yishuv is that additional one that's part of the five. Fine. There's a Maisa that the Tzvi Pesach Frank went to visit the Chabina Rav. Chabina Rav lived in Rechavia. We know where in the areas that people live right now. But I passed by his old apartment. He used to live in the Shari Chesed area. So the Tzvi Pesach Frank once visited the Chabina Rav, and he was very sick, the Chabina Rav. And the Chabina Rav was, even though he was sick, he was still makbid to still go to the mikvah. He said he would go to the mikvah. So Tzibei Frank asked him, he said, this is all a hiddur. It's all a chumrah that you're doing. Why are you still going to the mikvah? If you're so sick, it's gonna hurt you. So he said, there's a Gemara, Sanhedrin, on Daf Yud Chesam and Beis, that I have a Kabbalah, that from one tefillas mikvah you don't get sick. What's the pshat? So he says he learns exactly like we just said. The teretz is that not like we're saying, that that the one outside was not nischamim. Why was the one outside not nischamim? Because that's outside the mikdash. Then you don't have the teretz of Tais Vein Shvis B'Mikdash. So if that's true, perhaps that's what Rashi's saying, that there wasn't a chimum for that. So then how did the Kohen Gadol, still, why weren't they concerned that he would get sick? One tefillah, you're not going to get sick. One tefillah, you're not going to get sick. So said the Chabina Rav, back to Ritzi Bezat Frank, apparently from one tefillah, even though it's going to be hot, there's a Kabbalah from the Kohen Gadol that you're not going to get sick. Fine. Fascinating. The whole biography, it's a Gedai biography, or Rav Yeager told me actually to read this biography. The biography of the Chabina Rav, the stories that he says, and he gets mamish from Sugyas, Hanhagas Achayim. There's other stories also connected to the Avodah Yom Kippur. It's not for now. A guy is giving a hard time that he was drying off the drops. I think the person didn't realize, whatever, it's for another time. There's a lot of meisim that he got from mamish, a walking Sugya. Good. So now let's go on in the Gemara and see something that doesn't seem like something fundamental, but in my opinion, this is one of the most fundamental Gemaras and really hashkacha that we get to hear tonight. Zok the Heilige Gemara. Amar Rav Papa. Rav Papa said a chiddush. Based on everything that we've just developed, Zok Rav Papa Shma Mina Shasa Basa Yarcha Azil. So now, what does that mean? Let's see Rashi. Amar Papa Shmamino mihadik tani v'loy Kohen Gadol b'Ibra Hashana. Again, what's our concern? Kohen Gadol is not going to have a fair state of mind when he's judging whether or not to be Ma'aberes Hashana or not, because he's going to want a warmer climate when he's going to be facing the Avoda in Tishrei of Yom Kippur. And he's not going to want the cold of Cheshvan to exist on the 10th of Tishrei. So says Rav Papa, okay, Shasa Basar Yarcha Azler. So you see from here, Achar Yerechim Haru'uyim Lios, Imlonis Abra, Holech Kor V'chom Shel Shana V'tzina Haru'uya B'mar Cheshbon Havi B'Tishrei Kishem Ezaberes. The seasons, says Rav Papa, follow what's supposed to be, not what Bezdin established to be the actual months. Because if you would have said what? Shasa lav basar yarcha. So then what, says Rav Papa? Then what's the Kohen Gadol concerned about? Just let them be ma'aber it, and then whatever the weather is supposed to be, the weather will be. But says Rav Papa, that's not the case. The kor v'chom shel shana v'tzina haru'uya b'mar cheshben havya b'tishrei kishem esaberes. Everything's going to be offset. So Tosfos points out over here in Dibra Maskal Shasa that hold on a second. I understand. One of the reasons we're Ma'aberes Hashana is because of the seasons. As we learned, right, a few months ago, I'm not even sure when we learned it, well, maybe years ago, we learned that one of the reasons for Ibra Hashana is Mipnei Atkufa. And the Brisker Rav thought that was the Iker Yisoid of. So Tosfos points out, you have to touch up the Gemara, but there were times that Ibra Hashana existed for Peres HaIlan, and for other reasons. So therefore, that's what you understand the Gemara over here to be that the season would be ignored, and yet you would still have Ibra Hashana for the other ancillary reasons that would call for Ibra Hashana. So listen to Rav Papa. So I just see from the fact that there was a concern of the Kohen Gadol to be Ma'aberes Hashana, that he's going to be concerned about the weather. So you see that the year Basar Yarcha Azil, it goes based on what the moon is and not what Bezdin establishes the moon to be. The actual physical moon. Fine. Ini v'hanach gimel roi bakar. Says the Gemara, but is that really accurate? Don't we know that there were 3 shepherds? The Havakaimu v'shaminu rabbanon de kamrei chad omar, that the rabbis were listening to them talk. Chad Amar im Bachir v'lokish kechada yenetz din hu adar. V'im lav less din adar. He was looking at something in the world. What does Rashi says in the first Rashi? Im Bachir v'lokish kechada yenetz din hu adar. Im yechoim bekarka v'yitzmach zera ha'bachir. If there's going to be new crops that's going to sprout out, right? So then we know that it's adar. It's a sign that it's adar. Din hu adar. V'im lav less din adar. So the rabbis heard that they were looking at the agriculture to decide what the month is. V'chad omer im tur b'tzvar betelig yamos u'betira betul te'ena yidmoich yishlach mashche din hu adar. So what's that? Also, mibakar yeh kor chazak achi ashor kor of lamus machmas atzina. If you see in the cattle that they're freezing, ubetir betul teinas yidmich ubtzarayim yigdal koach hachom achi ashor meitzel b'tzel ateina. Mamish reminds us of this weather. Listen to what Rashi says. In baboiker yeh kor chazak achi ashor kor of lamos. In the morning, a shore is about to plot and die because it's freezing. Ubetira betol teinasa yidmaich ubetzarayim yigdal koach hachom achi ashor meitzel b'tzel ateina machmas hachom. And in the afternoon, the shore is about to plot and schwitz to death because it's so hot. Mamish, this year's weather, I remember this week, I was walking out in the morning with a coat to Shachars. In the afternoon, I was schwitzing from the sun. It's unbelievable. So that's a sign that it's Adar, especially in Tafshin Ayin Ches. Okay? So the Gemara says, V'chad Amar, in the last Roy Bakr, the last shepherd says, Im kidum takav l'chada yeh yifech beloecha nafik l'kiblei dinu Adar. V'im lav less din Adar. What's that? Im kvar toshesh koyach ha'choyref kol kach shekshei ruach izrachas chazaka ma'oid v'mevia tzina v'ata menashev beficha v'yoytze l'krasa v'nefichascha kasha min ha'ruach u'machamamasa din hu adar. So the Gemara says, if your breath is, as compared to the wind, is much stronger, so then that's going to be adar. Fine. So what happened? And what happened? The Gemara says, ve'abru rabbanon lahi shaita. The Gemara says the rabbis listened to these shepherds, to all their different simonim about the world, and they said, apparently, what? We need to be ma'aber. So what's the Gemara asking? Says Rashi, Vibru Rabbanan, Vasu Keshevet, Keshvat, Shekavu Adar, Asheni Achrav, Alma, Shasar Basar Ibura Azul. Loinaga Choim Denisam Ba'adar, Elaminig Adar, Ba'adar Asheni. So you see from this Gemara that what? That the seasons followed what the rabbis were ma'aber. So the Gemara says, how could it be? So didn't that go against Rav Papa's Chiddush? So the Gemara, no. El Rabbanan achishbonayu samach. V'roi boker istayud istayim el sayim. Gemara says the rabbis had their own cheshbonos. The rabbi was ma'aber for their own things. And then, people want to say, oh, this makes sense what the rabbis did because of this reason, because of that reason, and it makes a lot of sense and it fits in. So then the Gemara says it was just a siyua, but that wasn't the real main reason, and it's not a raya against Rav Papa. So what does Rav Papa say? Shasa basa yarcha azla. Doesn't sound like an incredibly intriguing Gemara. It just sounds like a basic observation, and I'm about to tell you that that's not the case. Let's open up a Chsam Sofer. You have the Chsam Sofer here? Chsam Sofer is in Shuvas and Orach Chaim and Siman Yudal. Zok the Heilige Chsam Sofer. In the first parak of Rosh Hashanah, the Gemara discusses, in the second paragraph in the Chsam Sofer, when is the Rosh Hashanah of an Esrog? Amalei Shvat, Shvat Techadoshim, Perish, Rashi, Shel Levana. Oidet Kufa, do you go based on the lunar year, the solar year, Perish Rashi, Sof Shloshim, Shel Tkufas Tedes, Nichnas Shvat Shelo, Chama Upashale de Chadashim, Shuv Ba Minei Hais Hashanah Uberes Mao. So what do you do if it's a leap year? Perish Rashi, Amos Rosh Hashanah Shelo, Shvat Samach Latevis, Adar Arishon. By the way, the Chsam Sofer is dealing with a tshuva over here about a person in a questionable yortzeit. If it's Lamed Shvat, when should he keep the yortzeit? This is what he's discussing in this tshuva. Perish Rashi Emes Rosh Hashanah Shalosh Shvat Samach Latevus O Adar Rishon Shehu B'Makom Shvat Upashech Halach Achar Rov Shanim. You should go like the regular most majority of the years, even if this year is a Shana Mu'beres. Perish Rashi Misha Shmo Shvat. The Kotzav HaTosfos. Listen to what Tosfos says on that Gemara. The Chadashim. Why should anything be based on the lunar calendar, says Tosfos. Everything when it comes to the Rosh Hashanah of an Esrog should be about the solar calendar. That's the way the Tvuah is created. T'chsiv mimeged Tvuas Shemesh. As the Pasuk says, what causes the Shemesh to be created? It is the Shemesh. Hachanami ksiv mimeged grashireichim v'gam Yisraelim monim l'levana. So what does Tosfos answer? Tosfos says, yeah, but the pasuk also said mimeged grashireichim, and that Klal Yisrael follows the levana. But how did he answer the question? But when it comes to the Elon, when it comes to the Esrog, what makes the Esrog grow? The Shemesh. Mimeged Tvua Shemesh. That's what causes agriculture to grow, not the lunar calendar. How can you tell me Rosh Hashanah Li'Ilanos, Rosh Hashanah La'Esrog should follow the solar calendar? Ulechora kushyasem kushyat suma, says the Chassam Sofer. Dairi le'el yudalin amal famrinan shvat Rosh Hashanah Li'Ilanos hova over rov gishmei shana perishashi ba'ala srafi lanos v'nimtza peris chontin miata. Why is Shvat the Rosh Hashanah for Ilanos, says the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah? Because it depends on the development of the tree and when it's sprouting. V'ayim perish Rashi v'yadua mimeged tvuah shemesh koyal peris ha'ilon. So if that's the case, the pasuk that says mimeged tvuah shemesh is talking about what's following the chama, which is the peris ha'ilon. The grashi reichim koya peris ha'aretz, and grashi reichim is talking about vegetables, kagong shuim v'avatichim, watermelons, but not the esrog and the peris ha'ilon. So what's Tosfos' answer? V'imkein chanitas peris ha'ilon ein lem b'levana. Umay tirtzu, and what bechlal did Tosfos answer? The kasha is still a kasha. Hachanami ksiv grashi reichim ma yitain v'yosef mashi Yisrael meinin l'levana. And what does Tosfos end? The fact that Klal Yisrael follow the moon. Because of that, that'll change the nature and the development of a tree. Even if you want to tell me, Meiser Paris is only a chiv d'Rabbanan, and therefore we can follow the rabbis. So Ma'ayane Rambam, what's the Rambam? The Rambam Shita is the one Shita that holds that Meiser Paris, it's a big misconception that our Trumas of Meisers is biblical, b'zman hazeh. With the exception of the, not even b'zman hazeh. It's a big misconception that all fruits need Truma and Meiser. Most Rishonim are of the opinion that fruits do not need Trumas and Meisers, with the exception of Shitas Aramim that hold all fruits are chayev in Trumas and Meisers min HaTorah, with the exceptions of carobs. V'gamim, because the Gemara says Rosh Hashanah beferish by carobs, that it's Meichel Klovim. So next time on Tu B'Shvat that we eat carobs, you should think about that Gemara. V'gamim nidchak loimer de dafke esokoy de gadol kol mayim kamo yerek. Maybe you'll tell me, no, it's specifically esrog, because the Gemara says esrog is different, which is why the halachos of esrog are very specific and different than all other fruits, because it grows on all water and it's more similar to a vegetable. So let's skip a little bit. So then he says, V'amrina, and skip a little bit. V'amrina m'seches Sanhedrin Yud Chesem Beis, he quotes our Gemara. Amar Rav Papa Shmamina Shasar Basi Yarcha Azul. Perish Rashi Achar Yoreichem Haruuyin Lios. Imlonis Abra Holech Kor V'chom Shel Shana V'tzina Haruuyin Lios B'mar Cheshben Hava B'Tishri Kashem Esaberes. Imkein Mali Imrov Hashanim Shmo Shvat Olo Keven Shag Hol Ponim Adayin Sina Shel Teves Hu B'Shvat Ein Sraf B'ilanos Lamaisa. This shouldn't make any sense. Even if most months Shvat will be a certain warmth, and it's not going to help us now. You're not going to have that budding, that sprouting, and you're not going to have the level that you need in terms of the sraf that is going to be necessary to create Rosh Hashanah Li'Ilanos Our Gemara makes the Chassam Sofer's question much stronger because our Gemara says the Iber will not help the Kohen Gadol and the seasons are going to continue as they are. Listen to the Chassam Sofer's answer in the next paragraph. Avala emes yoridarko kizeh kol nivne. Rabbi say this is a yisoid for life, and this changed my whole perception of the Yontif of Shavuos, as we'll see in a second. Amir Hashem. Avala emes yoridarko kizeh kol nivne al klola the Kail Yerushalmi. Listen to this Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says lakel gomer alai. Famous Yerushalmi that Yerushalmi says lakel gomer alai. Gomer alai. Shalmi says HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides to start Rosh Hashanah when the Bezdin Shalmata decides when it's Rosh Hashanah. Lakel Gomer Alai. Umaiselech Shach Simin Kuf Pei Tes Sifkot Yud Gimel. And the Shach in Yeredeya in Hilchos Nida quotes this Yerushalmi. Why does the Shach in Yeredeya in Hilchos Nida quote this Yerushalmi? So I'm going to tell you. There is what's called an halacha of veses. That means that a woman, when she's keeping Hilchos Nida, she not only has to abstain from her husband and check herself when she is not tahor, when she is tameh, but she also has to check herself on days that she is cautious and she's concerned that she might see in the future possible period and nida. What is that based on? It's based on chazakas. It's based on what happened in the past. So there is one chazaka that's known as a veses hachodesh. There is a day of the month. Let's say last month I saw on Chav Vav Iyar. So then I'm going to check on Chav Vav Sivan. Came along one of the Rishonim, the Ra'ah, and the Ra'ah says that it's utterly ridiculous, and I'm erasing that from my Shulchan Aruch. Said the Ra'ah, because it makes no sense that should predict anything for this month. Because Bezdin arbitrarily can decide whether or not last month is a Malay or is a Chaser. So therefore, the fact that you saw on a certain date last month should not be indicative of whether you're going to see this month, and therefore, the whole din of Veses HaChodesh is Narishkai, and he erased it from his Shulchan Aruch. Came along the Rashba, and the Rashba retorted to the Ra'ah, and he says, you forgot a Yerushalmi. The Yerushalmi says like this. What happens if a girl... The Gemara says that after 3 years, a girl has, and if she's raped, so there's a difference between being raped when she's younger, and then 3, and after 3. Gemara says, after 3, before 3, besuleha chozrim. Her hymen, her signs of virginity will come back, and after 3, besuleha enam chozrim. So Yerushalmi asakasha. Well, what happens if it happened in a shana mu'uberes and they elongated a year? Everything's discussed in Chazal. So the Gemara says, what happens that? Says the Yerushalmi. So then you're right. So then if she's raped in that month, Besulel will be chayzrim because it's still technically 3 months. So Aktashach, that's true on a month-to-month basis. I tell this to my Chazanim. When you learn about Veses Chodesh, realize what Amunas Chachamim you're believing in right now. That within the calendar, you're accepting now that Chazal control Teva. And Teva is controlled by Chazal. Okay, if that's the case, so then our whole Gemara makes no sense. Because our Gemara says against that Chazal don't control Teva. So what am I saying? So now listen to the Chassam Sofer. Va'ashoyresh de'ateva mishubedes l'toreseinu ha'kdoisha. ובסולה שניבלה אף על פי שעל פי טבע כבר גודל זמן הרוי שלא יחזרו בסוליה מכל מקום כיוון שעברו בזדן החוידש הטבע משובדס לתורה. The nature of the world is meshubed to the Torah. Unbelievable. V'huchlish koicha v'choizeres besulea, and she becomes a minor under 3 and her besulim come back. And also when it comes to an adult boy, that it's a chazaka that he's going to have 2 sires. Even if we check him and he has 2 hairs, it is not a sign of gadlus. It's what the Gemara calls hairs that are shuma, that are accidental hairs, that are not real hairs, that is not a sign of puberty. And even if he ate chaylev and is chayev chatas or malchus, nifter mechiyuva yidibur bezdin, it can't be real puberty. V'chein ben teshanim lebiyah kedayme. Chose beer lahedi b'tshuvas mari mints. Menarach b'dvarav. Find the chiddush len Rav Papa b'Sanhedrin anal. What do you do with our Gemara? Moiridik. Shma mina shasar bosa yercha azal davasal kadai techamina. Demitam lakel gomer alai yishtenu ha'itim. Says the Chassam Sofer, what's Bechlal Rav Papa coming to be Mechadish? Shkoyach. Rav Papa makes an observation. We presented Rav Papa as like, okay, if the Kohen Gadol is concerned, must be that the seasons follow what it's supposed to be and not what Bezdin says. Well, it's just like an interesting ha'ara Rav Papa's coming to tell us. No, says the Chassam Sofer, you're reading the Gemara wrong. Rav Papa had a Yerushalmi that was staring in his face. Yerushalmi tells us that when Bezdin makes a psak, Teva follows Bezdin. So Rav Papa had a kasha. So what do you do with our Gemara? Says Rav Papa, don't worry about a Gemara. Our Gemara is right, our Gemara is accurate, and Shosa Bosar Yarcha. And Bezdin does not control the Teva. So now I have a stira. So it's what's Machlokes Yerushalmi in the Bavli? Zoch the Chassam Sofer name. Gewaldig. I would have thought even when it comes to the Kohen Gadol, when it comes to the mikvah, when it comes to Cheshvan and Tishrei, Dimitam lekel gomer alai yishtenu ha'itim gamkein. Kamash malon, listen to the Chassam Sofer. Kevon sheze einoi noigeya l'Torah. Mishum hochi oilom kinin hogo noyeg le'inyon kor v'choim. Zoch the Chassam Sofer, what's the need in our sugya? What's the din? It's maisalach. Rav Pesach Frank, the Shabina Rav. It's whether or not you're going to get sick, you're going to get cold. It's convenience. There's nothing halachic here that's relevant. Halach is going to stay the same no matter what. It's just that the Kohen Gadol has a negiyas because, it might be a little cold and I might suffer and it's going to be problematic. Dr. Papa, no. There the Yerushalmi doesn't apply. Shasa basar yarcha. For what? For this. But Rav Papa was coming to tell you this, Dr. Chassam Sofer, because that's not true when it comes to anything that's noigeya lehalocha. And therefore, if it's noigeya to trumas and maisris, even if the item and the nature of the halacha is totally on shemesh, it's totally on srafa ilan, it's totally on growth, it's totally on the sunlight, solar energy. Says the Chassam Sofer, it's not a problem. That's what the Gemara is telling us. The Gemara is telling us that even though the Yerushalmi is so paramount, the Yerushalmi is correct, over here it won't apply, it will be Shasa Basar Yarcha. That's the Chiddush of Rav Papa. Moreover, Rabbi say, there's a Moiridika Maisa. Person came to the Chazon Ish, and he asked him about a certain procedure. And it was a very risky procedure. He wasn't sure whether or not he should go through with it. The doctors were very concerned, and they asked the Chazon Ish what to do. So the Chazon Ish asked him, where is the procedure being taken place? Is it in America? Is it in Chutz La'aretz? Or is it in Eretz Yisrael? So the person told him it's in Eretz Yisrael. So Chazon Ish said, then you should do the surgery. So obviously, the person wanted to know what the Chazon Ish's connections to the hospital in Eretz Yisrael, above and beyond, Mount Sinai in New York. What, you have something against the New York hospitals? Said the Chazon Ish. Or is there hashgacha? Says the Chazon Ish is very simple. Chazon Ish says there's hilchos treifus. And the Gemara tells us a treifa, certain simanei treifus, are a sign that a person's going to die in a year. He's not going to live. Treifa ein achaya. That's what the Gemara says. But your issue that you have right now happens to be a machlokes between Rabbi Yosef Cairo and the Rama of Moshe Isilis. So he said, since the surgery will be done in Eretz Yisrael, and that's the makom of who? Rabbi Yosef Cairo. So therefore, we can go with his psak, and the teva will be nigrar after the kviyas of Rabbi Yosef Cairo. But if the surgery would have been done in Chutz La'aretz, where Rav Moshe Isilis the Ramah, his psak in Hilchas Treifus would be nikba, then I would not necessarily tell you to do the surgery. So the Chazon Ish, That's the case. And the Chazon Ish said this thing, he had a riot to it. He said, I don't understand. There's a machlokes haposkim. You know, we go through all these different shiurim when we make the sukkah adi, and we say which tvachim, the Chazon Ish's tvachim, the Rav Moshe's tvachim, and the Rav Chaim Noah's tvachim. Said the Chazon Ish, I have a kasha. I don't understand. What happens if a guy falls down into a pit, and the Gemara says in Baba Kama that if he falls into a pit 10 tvachim high, he's not gonna live, right? So he's not 10 amas high. He's not gonna live, right? So what happens if it's the Bezdin was holding by Reb Chaim Noah's shir, and he wasn't holding by Reb Chazon Ish's shir? So what? He's going to live depending on the bet. Says the Chazon Ish, yeah. If the Bezdin that paskin they're koiveya the halacha. Exactly what the Chassam Sofer is telling us here. When was this established? When did this happen? So Rabbi Isai, I'd like to share with you an idea. It's developed by the Beis HaLevi, but it answers a lot of kashas, and it's a yisoid for the Yontif of Shavuos, and it's mamish hashkacha that we're up to the sugya. And grada, I wasn't even sure. The next sugya happens to do with Yibum, which is also the Shavuos sugya of Rus and Boyas. So the mamish HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like the Gemara Bracha says, is learning with us, and he's with us every day. So there's tremendous hashkacha. But listen to this. There is a kasha that Magen Avram asks when it comes to Shavuos, a very important kasha. He says we celebrate Shavuos on the wrong day. We celebrate Shavuos on Vav Sivan. But Kabbalas HaTorah was really on what? Hoisif Moshe Rabbeinu Yoim Echad Midaito was on Zayin Sivan. Very, very bothersome kasha. And I'm not even going to get into what the Magen Avram answers. Very difficult answer. It's really another shmooze what the Magen Avram answers. Something for another time. But the kasha is a bam kasha. But I'd like to share with you another kasha. Toisus and Avodah Zarah asked this kasha. Vayiher vayivoker yoim hashishi. So what do Chazal learn in the Gemara in Avodah Zarah for yoim hashishi? That part of the Brias HaOlam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, his hisnetnai in Brias HaOlam, that what? Im Klal Yisrael yikablu es HaTorah, then what? Then mutav, then there will be, the world will be sustained, the world will continue to exist. The imlav yachzor l'toyev avo. I think it's a drasha from Reish Lakish. Okay? Ask Toisis Akasha. Avodah Zarah daf gimel. A bam kasha of a mamish mayerdik kasha. He says, what do you do with the Tana that holds that Moshe Rabbeinu was hoisef yoim echad midaito? And ultimately what? Nesinas HaTorah was when? Was on Zion season. Not the whole hashishi goes down in the garbage. There's no such drasha. But everyone agrees to that puzzle. The Gemara has no cholek in Avodah Zarah on that drasha. So why isn't that a kasha on the other Tana? Okay? Another kasha. Nisina. When you give me a matana, okay? When you give me a matana, by definition, what that means is I gain something. But what does it also mean by the person giving something over? This is a Moshe Schwerd pointed this out to me. He's a Meir Dikapshat. Talmud Chacham from Queens. What does it mean, matan Torah? It means you gave me something, right? But by every matana, Adi, if you give me a gift, that means you're losing something. Kadosh Baruch Hu lost his Torah? No, we were makabel Torah, but there's no loss from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Beis HaLevi, there was a loss when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to us. Says the Beis HaLevi to answer the Magen Avram's kasha, a Meir Dikazach. And this answers the Alshach's kasha. Says the Alshach, Shavuos should be celebrated on Yom Kippur. Why? Because that's when we got the Torah. Bam kasha. Mamish bam kashas, kasha after kasha on the celebration of this week. We should mamish cancel the whole Yontif. The answer is we're not celebrating Kabbalas HaTorah. Maral already tells us there's a difference between Matan Torah and Kabbalas HaTorah. We are celebrating Matan Torah. Kulei Almaloi Pligi. Everyone agrees that Matan Torah was a gift that was relinquished from HaKadosh Baruch Hu and from the Malachim, and that's why the Malachim were so obsessed in the Gemara in Shabbos and Daf Peiches saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu ma'en eshkitis gerenu. Why are you going to give this over to the Bnei Adam? It's not right for the Bnei Adam. Manav Shach, Rabbi say. It's Shayach to the Malachim? What of the mitzvahs are Shayach to the Malachim? The Malachim didn't care about us having the mitzvahs. The Malachim cared about Vav Sivan. Vav Sivan is different than Zayin Sivan. Hoisif Moshe Yoimechad Midaito was for what? For the day that we were actually received the tablets, received the Teichen, received the Psukim and the Kra and the Michtav. But there was something that was universally celebrated on Vav Sivan prior to Kabbalas HaTorah. What's that? That's Zman Matan Toraseinu. Not Zman Kabbalas Toraseinu. The Rebbeinu Shalom made us the Balei Shlita of the world. We control the world. We are Koiveya Lekel Goimer Alai. Now the Malachim say, whoa. This is already getting a little bit into our territory. Why are you giving and why are you relinquishing so much control? Bishlam of the mitzvahs, I understand. Bishlam of Kabbalas HaTorah, very nice. Matan Torah? You're now going to make it leave Shamayim? You're going to make chazanishes that now could be Koiveya the Teva? You're going to make that the dinim are going to follow the nature of the nature is going to follow the dinim of the world, like the Chassam Sofer says from our Gemara. That was Matan Torah. That's what we're celebrating on Shavuos. And the fact that Kabbalas HaTorah was on Yom Kippur at the end of the day, it's not relevant. And that's what we're celebrating over here. We're celebrating Aveses HaChodesh. We're celebrating that the fact that when it comes to, and like the Chassam Sofer says, it's only Noigeya, not convenience, not stam nature. It's only Nogeya to Dinim. And when it's going to apply to Dinim, then we control every single dimension in this world. That's the answer to the Magen Avram's Kasha. That's Vav Sivan, as opposed to Zayin Sivan. There was something else that happened on Shavuos. And Rabbi Yisai, until I saw this Beis HaLevi, I never understood what we're celebrating on the Yontif of Shavuos. We're celebrating Sanhedrin Yud Ches Amud Beis. We're celebrating that Shasar Lav Basar Yarche when it comes to what? Dinei HaTorah. Rabbi say this is a yesod for life. This is something that we have to live by. We have to tell our children about this. What the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us on the Yontif of Shavuos when he created Matan Torah, and that's Kulei Alma Loi Pligi. And that's the teretz to Tosis Kasha in Avodah Zarah Daf Gimel. Everyone agrees to the drasha of Yom HaShishi. That's Kulei Alma Loi Pligi. Whether or not Hoisif Moshe Yoimechad Midaito, when the plan for Kabbalas HaTorah was supposed to be, there's different. But the fact that we became the Shlita, the Bali Shlita, the Bailim on the Torah, that's Kulei Alma Loi Pligi. That's the answer to the Magen Avram's Kasha. That's the Yesod of the Chassam Sofer, and that's why all of the shaylas that the Chassam Sofer answers when it comes to Dinei HaTorah, as opposed to when it comes to minhag and just convenience of the world. Shkach.